What's going on, my trainer club? We have the Enigma week in Pokemon Go, so I hope you guys are ready to get after some shiny Deoxys, some wild shinies, and everything else. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, how did you do on week 1 Dragon Week? Did you guys have successful shinies? Guys, I am excited to announce that I have clutched a last-minute shiny that is going to be coming out in a future video very soon. I am so incredibly excited about this one, so let me know in the comments below how you guys did on this. Do stay tuned to my shop, which is going to be thetrainerclub.com. In the upcoming couple days, we have a new shirt design that is going to be coming out. So I'm excited about this one too. I've been waiting to do this one for a very long period of time, so I'm excited to get this out to you guys. Not quite, but I want to make you guys aware that we are coming very soon for that. And number 3, let's get into the Enigma week. So we have it starting today, obviously at whatever time zone it has started for you, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern, whatever time zone lines up for you, and that's going to go exactly 1 week all the way until August 14th. Then we are going to switch over into the last phase of the bonus, but that's not what we're talking about there. We are talking about this here right now. So today we're going to go over all of the things that are happening in this event. We're going to go over the tips and everything like that. So guys, we do have new shinies out. We have Staryu, which goes into Star Meet. Really think that shiny is pretty cool. For anybody that did not participate in the Go Fest, or maybe you have never participated in a fest before and you need an unknown, we have unknown spelling ULTRA, which is going to be Ultra in raids that are going to be 2-star raids. So they also have shiny potentials, guys. All of the unknowns now have shiny potentials. So we'll talk about that in another tip as well. And then finally, we have Deoxys, only in the normal form, that is out, that is going to be going on in raid battles. So we do have 7 Kilometer Eggs that are going to feature a couple Pokemon that are going to include Lunatone, Solrock, Igglybuff, Cleffa, as well as LGM. So let's get into all the tips without further ado, starting off with tip number 1. Tip number 1, guys, is going to focus on all of the wild spawns that are going to be out there. You guys want to get after these spawns. There are some boss Pokemon out there. There are some shinies that are rare. There are now the regional Pokemon that are out there. So let's check out what Pokemon are going on in the wild right now, which ones have shiny potentials, and which ones I'm going to suggest to catch now. Evolve if you do want to, and save for some of them as well. We have Clefairy, Jigglypuff, and Staryu. So guys, do remember that during GoFest, they did release the Jigglypuff shiny into the game. So we now have all 3 of these Pokemon, including the new Staryu, that is active as a shiny in Pokemon Go. So we will check out in the next tip which are going to be relevant for PvP and which are going to be relevant for meta raid attackers. But these are the shinies to get after right now. If you don't have any of these guys, this is the first time that we've seen Jigglypuff that's going to be boosted for an event since the shiny came out besides GoFest, so it's definitely a Pokemon you really want to stay after. And also, the Staryu is going to be new, and it's a Gen 1 Pokemon, guys, so without rainy weather, it is not going to be a super prevalent Pokemon, so right now is a great time to go gung-ho. Make sure to get your Starmie if you're a new player, you don't have any of those Pokemon candy, but most importantly, the shiny, since it's so prevalent, try your absolute hardest to get it. In the next round, we do have 2 Pokemon that have been released a couple times this year. We have shiny potentials in the Solrock and the Lunatone. So guys, stay after these Pokemon as much as you possibly can, because when they do stop this event, they're going back to the respective region. In the Eastern Hemisphere, you guys are going to have Solrock, and in the Western Hemisphere, we're going to have Lunatone. And since they have switched those guys, I've maybe seen 1 Lunatone, which I think was a little bit over a month ago. That just shows how rare those Pokemon are. So those Pokemon are a high focus rarity of shinies. Get the Lunatone, get the Solrock. And then we also do have Baltoy. Baltoy, also a relatively rare Pokemon from what I see. I did not get the shiny when it was released, so that's going to be another high focus of mine. And then we have Beldum, shiny potential. This Pokemon, I'll give you guys a hint right now before we get into what we do with these Pokemon, is going to go into Metagross. So number 1, really powerful Pokemon, top steel attacker in the game currently, but it has to have the move of Meteor Mash, which comes from Community Day. So what you guys need to do is, number 1, pineapple this Pokemon as much as possible. You want to have as much Beldum candy as possible. You can never go wrong with too much Beldum candy, similar to as I recommended with Dratini and Bagon, as well as the Gibble from the last event. Then you also really want to save this Pokemon. I would suggest instead of using an Elite Charge TM, because during December, in the last video I did see in the comments, why do we have to wait till December to evolve it to get that move? So during December, the last 2 years, we have had Calm Day wrap-ups where during those times, the entire year's worth of shinies were released, and you could evolve all of the past Pokemon to get their Calm Day moves freely during those time frames. So you're going to want to save any of these Pokemon, and I'm also going to suggest that you mass trade Beldums over 2 kilometers, definitely. So guys, also I'm going to be releasing another video that is going to be saving your rare Pokemon. So if you do have still saved your Gibbles, your maybe Bagons, Dratinis, if you do want more candy, I will be releasing that video to give you my top strategy of what to do with your rare Pokemon right now. So stay tuned as well. We got some awesome content coming up. And then we have Bronzer, which does have a shiny as well. And then we have LGM. So LGM is going to be a new Psychic type Pokemon for everybody out there. So what I suggest doing during this Pokemon is just Pineapple it, get a decent amount of candy, save up for it, and then you can be done with it. If you do want to go for the lucky dex, you can trade it until you get luckies. That's about as far as that Pokemon goes. Honestly, it maxes below 1500. It's not super crazy good in PvP as well. And the 3 research tasks that are out there are going to include make 3 curveball throws for a ball toy encounter. 100% IV is going to be 337. That one does have a shiny. Win a raid, which is going to be Staryu. That is now the new shiny out there. 495 with the shiny, and then catch 3 Psychic type Pokemon, which can give you a rare candy. So guys, nothing too crazy out here. Obviously, the Psychic rare candy is super easy to complete. I wouldn't go super out of your way to make sure you get any of these. I mean, you can do the win a raid, but it's also going to be winning a raid. So if you do choose to do that, make sure to stack up 3 win a raid tasks to be able to complete it in the most efficient manner. So with all that said for the wild, we are now going to go into tip number 2. Tip number 2 is going to switch into the 7 kilometer egg. So guys, from the last event, I was horribly unimpressed with the dino. Fortunately, I believe I hatched 1 dino, and it happened to be the 100% IV. So if you guys want to check out me hatching the Hundo dino, you can check it out up here. But besides that, it was majority focused on Swablu, Horsey, and Dratini, and unfortunately, those were pretty much everywhere. So the 7 kilometer eggs in the last event were a bust. So as far as this one goes, we are going to have Igglybuff, Cleffa, we have Lunatone, we have Solrock. Solrock, Lunatone are going to be the wild, and we have LGM as well, also going to be in the wild. So the 2 Pokemon to look out for here are going to be Igglybuff and Cleffa. So now the second evolution of those Pokemon, besides the babies, are also shiny in the wild, but the only way to get these shiny babies is going to be to hatch them from 7 kilometer eggs. What I'm going to say for tip number 2 is do not go super gung-ho unless you absolutely must have one of those shiny babies. But even in that case, honestly guys, I think it's kind of a diminishing return on these 7 kilometer eggs right now, especially since we had one of the rarest Pokemon in the game, Dino, coming from the last 7 kilometer eggs, and it maintained its rarity in those 7 kilometer eggs. So as of right now, I would probably say to just take them with a grain of salt, maybe hatch 1 or 2, but don't go super gung-ho unless you absolutely need one of those shinies and it's one of the ones you are missing out on. Because as of right now, the babies have not been in 7 kilometer eggs, so it's definitely a time that you could stack up. So with that said, what are going to be the 100% IVs? Cleffa is going to be 383 at level 20. Igglybuff is going to be 306 hatch level. Lunatone and Solrock are pretty easy because they maintain the exact same IVs of 1330. And LGM is going to be 791. So there's only 5 potentials in those eggs. Make sure to take out what you want. Make sure to save your coins if you are trying to condense and ration some coins, because we do have Genesect coming out next event in the shiny form, which I am very excited about. So that's everything to do with 7 kilometer eggs. Let's now go into tip number 3. Tip number 3 is going to be, what do all these eggs and wild Pokemon have to do with Go Battle League and meta raid attackers? So let's check out the Go Battle League right now. In the Great League, we have Clefable, ranked 75 with Charm, Meteor Mash, and Moon Blast. The 100% IVs are going to be 0, 13, 15. Then we have Clefable in the Ultra League, same exact moveset. Guys, do note here, it can go all the way to level 41 because it maxes below 2500, so you can buddy boost that up. Then we have Wigglytuff in the Great League, ranked 53 with Charm, Ice Beam, and Play Rough. Pretty tanky Pokemon. 100% IVs are going to be 0, 15, 12. And next, not super relevant, we have Bronzong in the Great League, 204 rank. Confusion, Psyshock, and Bulldoze. And then in the Ultra League, it's ranked 196. That one can get buddy boosted. In the Great League, it's going to be 0, 14, 15. And then finally, we do have the last Pokemon, which is going to be Metagross. Metagross is going to be ranked 17 in the Master League, guys. It can also be used in the Premier as well. So do check that Pokemon out. The moveset is going to be Bullet Punch, Meteor Mash, and Earthquake combination. It outranks the Shadow because you want to use the special in this Pokemon. So you want it to be a little bit tankier. Obviously, the 100% IVs are going to be all max 15s. You can buddy boost it all the way to level 41. And it's also a very relevant meta raid attacker. Guys, it is like the top DPS times TDO Pokemon besides the Mewtwo with the Psystrike and the Psychic when it did get buffed up. So besides that Pokemon, it sits above the Rayquaza as far as its attack output when it does have Meteor Mash. So that Pokemon, great for raids. It did do us justice previously in the raid bosses, and it is great for the Master League if you use it appropriately. And it is a Steel Psychic combination, so it does tote a good amount of resistances. So there's nothing too crazy here to write home about as far as Go Battle League and everything else like that, but there are some Pokemon that can be very useful. With all that said, let's now go into tip number 4. Tip number 4 is going to deal with the raid type Pokemon. Which ones do you guys go after? What is going to be good for you? In tier number 1, we do have Clink. If you guys haven't got a shiny Clink, you can raid for it. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of raiding for Pokemon. 546 is going to be the 100% IV, especially in those lower tiers, because I do feel like it does have diminishing returns. In tier number 2, we do have the Unknown. So guys, what I would suggest doing here is getting one of each if you don't have these letters. U, L, T, R, and A. Because Unknowns are incredibly rare, especially if you don't go to GoFest. 677 is going to be a level 20 100% IVs, but beyond that, hunting down each and every shiny is going to be absolute raid pass suicide. I promise you, it is going to be tremendously hard to do that. So if you do want to try to get at least one shiny, you can raid hard for it, but it's up to you guys. I would suggest at least getting one of each just to have and unlock it in your Pokédex if you are into that. If not, just unlock one Unknown and be satisfied. In tier 3, probably wouldn't recommend any of these Pokemon. They are all in the wild. And then in tier 4, we do have the Alolan Marowak, which does have a shiny, but it was at GoFest, and we have GoFest makeup. So if you haven't gotten one, I don't know, guys. Like I said, raiding for these shinies, just look at your Gibble shiny raid numbers. How many of you guys got tons of shiny Gibbles from raids? Not too many of us, I would say. Take that for what it's worth. Then we also have Togetic. Guys, if you do need a Togetic to be able to go into the Master League for Togekiss, this is definitely something to do. You're able to get more candy with it. It is a tier 4 raid boss, so you're probably going to want to go in with 3 trainers. 967 is going to be the 100% IV, and then if you do want to be even more cautious, go in with more trainers, but do try to pine out that Pokemon to get some more candy. It's a relatively rare Pokemon. And then we have Metagross. What would I do with the Metagross? Big thing here is it doesn't come with the Calm Day move, so only go into the Metagross raids, assuming you are going to Pineapple it to get 20 Beldum candy. But still, guys, we have Beldum in the wild. Catching 3 Beldums with Pineapple berries and transferring them is equal to a raid pass, so I probably would not suggest going after this. And then we have Bronzong. Also not a big fan of that raid boss. And then finally in tier 5, we have Deoxys. 1806 is going to be the 100% IV. It does have a shiny out. And then 2257 is going to be the weather boost. If you guys do want to check out the counter guide, you can check it out up here to set up your party. What would I suggest doing on Deoxys? Treat it as Deoxys candy. If you guys are PvPers, if you haven't checked out Deoxys defense form, it does do work in PvP. You cannot trade any of these mythical Pokemon. So you're gonna have to raid for it, and all Deoxys in all forms are going to be Deoxys candy. So I would suggest if you're only going with your free-to-play passes, definitely do the Deoxys. You can get the new shiny, and you can start stocking up on Deoxys candy, which can be relevant for the defense form. And that's where I would sit for the raid Pokemon. So with all that said, we are now going into tip number 5. Tip number 5 is going to be, make sure to treat this event as it does have needs for. Guys, there are tons of spawns out there right now. Do not let this event go by and not hunt out Beldums. Shiny Beldums out there. We can save the Beldums. We can get Beldum candy. We can get any type of candy out there that we do need. If you need Jigglypuff, if you need Clefairy candy, those are Gen 1 Pokemon. They are starting to get rare. Do take into account that we do have the Deoxys as this form. Doesn't come out super often. You're going to want to try to get that shiny. It can't be traded for either, so there's no fail-safe on that Pokemon if you don't raid for it. And then also use Pineapps for any of these Gen 1 Pokemon that we have covered to get after. And as far as those 7 Kilometer Eggs, take it for what it's worth for you and do make your best decision. So that's gonna do it, guys. Do also remember that we are leading up into the GoFest makeup, so this week I do want you guys to start stocking up on Ultra Balls. We are gonna go over my top tips to make sure we max out on that 3 hours of GoFest coming up this week. I appreciate you guys for being here, all my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to the next level. I'm gonna see you guys out on the next video. Peace. I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.